Welcome back to the channel and back to the shop. We're gonna be hard back. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the shop. We're still in here today working on the 1990 CRX SI that we picked up. It still has about half a motor swap left in it. We have to get that all pulled out. The bottom end of the transmission is still attached inside this car, so we're gonna get that out and try to get that harness off of there and get it onto that B16. Mark is also working on spare parts up at the Real Racing Garage, so we get to check in with him. But for now, I just gotta get back onto this thing and try to get this motor out of here and get that B16 ready to go in.
Welcome back to the shop, everybody. We're back at the Row Racing shop. Bell Nova sitting behind me, and there's spare parts in here. I've got spare parts in here today, really hoping to try to knock out a lot of these little things that need to be done. Also, I want to start doing weight-saving items that most race cars have. This is just a purpose-built race car. It's going to get better and better over the years, we hope. We're still having injector issues, and not knowing what's going on there, I'm going to have to recruit B for some help on that. Getting things ready here. Also want to tackle some inside the car, get the seat bolted down, seat belts in, gutting of weight out, and many things like that. So let's get started. So one of the first things I'm gonna go ahead and knock out quick, pop the small radiator out, get it mounted. What I'm using to mount it onto the traction bar are stock EG top radiator mounts. What I've done is one on the other side is just sitting there, zip tied them to hold it for mock-up purposes. I'm gonna mark where I'm gonna drill. I'm gonna drill all the way through the traction bar, bolt it. No welding on this. This isn't the traction bar that will stay in the car forever. And actually, this traction bar is welded into the car. So we're not gonna cut it out until we're ready to add something nice in there. This is gonna be a pretty easy takeout. See, there's the mount on the bottom. So I'll set it back in here in a few minutes after I scuff this up. Get everything else cut out, get them both sit in there. I'll mark where I'm gonna drill through. The white marks there and there. I know I've got a bolt that'll make it through for both sides, but let's see if we can find a drill bit. Start drilling. Super pleased with how that came out. Drilled right through both sides. There it is. Went all the way through both sides. Got this 10 millimeter bolt and nut set up with a lock washer. Then I'm gonna bolt all the way through. Let's rewind. I couldn't use those 10 millimeter bolts because they weren't quite long enough to fit that contour how I wanted to bolt it up there. So we'll punt it with a 10 millimeter. I drilled a little bit bigger hole and we're gonna run this bolt. It's long enough. There is, they're not all the way tight. Zoom out for you. Bolts are a little longer than I expected, but I will come back and cut those down. If all goes well, I've measured properly, drilled properly, it'll sit right down in the feet like it's factory. I have to say, know it's tough to see, but it is sitting quote unquote factory mounted. Well, as they say in the ratchet strap world, that ain't going nowhere. I dig it. Just enough to keep the engine cool while we're running 8 whatever mile we want to run, 100,000 miles an hour. All right, so I guess next I've got to get these hoses hooked up, check all that stuff on this side. Also need to wire up the fan. I'm gonna jump on hooking the hoses back up, making sure both ends are clamped so that way we know that's done. Wrap up all these little things on this end and keep moving that way to the car.
That's everything off the top of the motor. That's pretty much the wiring harness and everything off the top that I need to get off. I just went on and took the intake off since it was almost all the way off already. So I just took it off to make it easier for me to get to everything. But that's everything off the top. Now we just gotta do the axles and shift linkage. I can't get that to really pop off the bottom there just by hammering it, and it's a good ball joint. I'm gonna go ahead and try to take the top one off because this one isn't quite as good and could use a replacement. So if I actually have to use the fork in there, well, it's already kind of tore up and this one isn't. So I'd rather replace this one than that one. So hopefully I'll be able to get this far enough out to get the axle out of the hub by just taking out this top one. This one. I'll show you. Yeah, see? That one right there. Have enough room to pull the fork off as well and get the axle out of the hub since I didn't get this bottom ball joint out and just got the top one. I'm only going to sort of button this up because we might have to make it roll at some point before putting the other motor in. So I'm just going to sort of button this up just to kind of hand tighten everything, put it back together. There's going to be a bunch of jangling around and bumping or whatnot while we push it in and out if we need to. Same thing on the side where I'm just gonna sort of just button it up so that it's rollable. If I have to roll it outside, maybe to clean up all this stuff, maybe to get all this painted, but at least it will be put back together so we could roll it if we have to. Wheels are where I'm gonna leave them and we can roll the car out like I said if I need to. I still have to get that shift linkage, so I'm gonna jump under there and get that, but let's check in with Mark and see where he's at.
Now I'm gonna trim these bolts down and this will be done. I'm gonna go ahead and get the fan at least wired up from here inside the car. I'm gonna ground it there, right there like that, and then run a blue power wire all the way into the car. Sometimes it's hard to trust my own wiring and things I do, so you stand here, because I'm the only one in the shop right now. You stand here, tell me if this comes on. Sounds like it did. So it did. Good job. Got it wired up. We're gonna clean all this up in here. Move some wires around in here. So I'm gonna get to that off camera real quick. That's boring wire and wire loom stuff. Y'all don't wanna see that boring stuff. Get that knocked out and show what it looks like when I'm done. Wanted to show you how everything turned out, which I'm happy with how it looks. See, we got some wire loom. It's not all tight yet, just in case. We gotta do some moving a little bit, but all cleaned up in here. Got all that looking better.
Now that the motor is out of the car, I've got to get that B16 prepped to go in. So I'm going to take the wiring harness off of this engine and use this wiring harness on that OBD1 engine over there. Hopefully that makes it easier to just get everything to just plug back in here, and then we're going to do the conversion harness at the computer in the inside and then wire all that in so that the dash works and all that other stuff works. But I've got those conversion harnesses to go on the inside, so basically just got to get this harness off and get it onto that B16. Looks like that should do it. I just got to wheel the thing out of here now. Easier said than done. The wheels on this dolly are just ass and they don't like to turn. Let's get the wiring harness converted onto this car. This is a B16A3 from Adelso, so it technically is a CRX motor. It's just a little bit newer. I'm gonna get this wiring harness switched out, and then we can get this CRX motor into this CRX. That's the OBD1 VTEC harness taken off of it. I think we'll probably have to use, and I probably won't use it off of this harness. I have another one, but I think we'll have to use the injector harness here and use some OBD1 injectors because of the way we're going to be wiring up the car. So we're going to use OBD1 injector harness, but not the actual OBD1 harness, just the injector harness in order to make everything work. Hey, Jolene. Hey, Jolene. Come say hi to everybody. You see him right here? Joe, right here. You're right there. Say hi.
We're gonna move around to the back here. Come on with me, come on. To this project. I'm gonna start cutting. I got supervision now. Big Kim's out here. We're gonna start cutting out the back of the spare tire well of the car. Get that all cut out. Let's start cutting. We're gonna cut all this out. Where the white line is where I've marked the cut. Gonna grab a tool, probably gonna Sawzall it, and then clean it up with a grinder with a clean wheel on it. I'm gonna start off by drilling a guide hole to start with my cut. Remember, there's no fuel tank in the car because we've already pulled that out. Here we go. With a different tool, but this is what I'm looking at. Yes, a little bit of paper in my ear for protection. I went to cut. Look. Yep. cut the spare tire well out, nice and clean. We will be building an aluminum filler. I've cut a big hole in the back of the CRX, so there you go.
And on to this wiring harness. So we get this one off of here because this is the harness that we're going to be using on the B16. Just got to get this wiring harness off of here. This is the wiring harness actually out of the CRX SI. So this is a CRX SI harness. It doesn't have a few things. It's missing a knock sensor, VTEC, oil pressure switch. All that stuff's going to have to be wired in. But this way, we're just going straight back to the shock towers. We're plugging everything in, and then we can just add the few extra wires that we're going to need for the B16. So I just need to get this off and then get it all mounted up onto this engine.
Back up on my grizzly on my bar shit, yeah. Ask me how I'm doing awesome, yeah. Fake ass energy, that's where you lost him, If you come around this time it costs, yeah. I can't trust nobody, no, we all fucked up. I don't trust nobody, only God I trust. Over traumatized, so the squad might bust. Probably catch your body, then the squad locked up. Look, I've been in my head, I don't know which way to turn now. Thought it was forever, but relationships in turn now. And I'm sick of trying, man, I start to feel the burnout. People come and go, that's a lesson that I learn now. Back up on my grizzly on my bar shit, yeah. Ask me how I'm doing awesome, yeah. Fake ass energy, that's where you lost him, If you come around this time it costs, yeah. Back up on my grizzly on my bar shit, yeah. Ask me how I'm doing awesome, yeah. Fake ass energy, that's where you lost him, If you come around this time it costs, yeah. Doing well now, I let go cause I wasn't held down. False claimers, false friends, yeah, they everywhere now. I just move in silence, I don't kiss and tell. Now let me get that back. I just move in silence, I don't kiss and shh. Look, life ain't come with manuals. Old friends, I wish them well.
We got that OBD-O harness onto this OBD1 motor, so that's pretty much going to have it converted. We just have to get it sit in there, but there's a few things that have to be done to the engine bay. For sure, I just have to get it pushed out of here and clean. So I'm going to get on that, but I'm going to save all that for the next episode. So thanks for watching. For me, Mark, and the rest of the Madspeed crew, until we see you on the next one, stay mad.
If you come around this time it costs, yeah. Back up on my grizzly on my bar shit, yeah. Ask me how I'm doing awesome, yeah. Fake ass energy, that's where you lost him, If you come around this time it costs, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna try my best. Yeah, I don't know. Got this 10mm. Some CRX people are gonna cry, but I did it. I've started cutting, and I went to cut.
Wow. And